Because surprisingly, running is a lot like finance. You got to put the time and effort. You got to make the contributions. And over time, your fitness and your balance will grow, and your form will start paying dividends in terms of performance.
Hi there, my name is Zach, and I have the goal of reaching the Brisbane Olympics 2032 marathon. Now, as you can see on the screen right here, these are my current PBs, and I'm a long way from making that dream a goal. But I'm hoping, with a lot of determination, patience, and hard work, that I can make it. I would love it if you guys could join me on my journey to go from a below average runner, to a pro. With that said, let's get into today's video.
Welcome to a lovely November morning. It's almost 6:30 and it's already 20 degrees. Wow, warm. Now, I just finished a Canberra race last weekend, so this is a recovery week for me. I've taken it easy all week. Today I'm just doing an easy hour and a half, and I'll probably finish at a 12 to 13k today, just under 50k for the week. So very chill, relaxed, only about 5.5 hours. My last couple of weeks have been, I think, 7.5 hour weeks, and then my peak week was 10.5. So if you look at the last month, I'm probably down, on average 3 hours a week. So definitely chill. Now, while my legs and heart are taking a chill, my feet are not. So the only downside, the only injury I've got from Canberra is my feet. Well, not necessarily my feet. My left foot, and it's the pinky and the one next to it, those two toes at the bottom. Oh, I've got cuts. I've got all sorts of stuff going on down there. And so it's been a little bit hard to run all week, but I managed to make it work. It is making my Achilles a little sore at the moment. I think it might be because I've changed my running form at the moment, but I've got tomorrow off and it doesn't feel too bad. Hopefully with it a bit, if I can rest this afternoon, and tomorrow we'll be good to get back into it on Monday. Now, in the lead up to the Canberra race, I kept filming a bunch of videos, and so at the moment I've actually got a little bit of a backlog. So I'm going to start doing, for I think the rest of the year, there'll be a fortnightly Wednesday video on top of my normal Sundays. The reason for that is I don't want to get too far ahead in terms of timeline. So you'll see this on the 23rd of November, and today's the 8th for me. So about 2 weeks delay between when I film and when I upload. If you do want to see and follow my training as and when it happens, I do have a Strava. Now, I did make a comment on one of my activities a couple of weeks back that I will no longer be active on Strava because of the Garmin Strava controversy, and as Strava's walked back, but I'm not interested in rejoining them. So all my runs will auto sync, and you can see them as and when they happen. So if you want to do that, and you want to follow me to the Olympics, follow me on Strava, but I won't be active other than those auto uploads. Now, what do I want to talk about as my main topic of today's video? And that is the running building blocks. Now, you guys might not know, but I used to be a financial advisor. I left, so in January, it'll be 3 years since I left the financial advice industry. It's a bit of a shit show with First Guardian collapsing and the other one, I can't remember what it's called, but billions of dollars were lost. These platforms gave them money to invest, and they basically did fraud. Now, should you focus on your investments? 100%. That is where you grow your wealth. You got to invest. You got to invest your super. It's just how and where. Because super is the gateway, is your gateway to a fantastic retirement. Now, how does this link back to running? Now, with both running and finance, it starts pretty slow. You've got to start by building that foundation. And that's what I found with my running. You know, I do a lot of base work, endurance, zone 2, whatever you want to call it. And what I've seen is, since I started running properly for the last, say this year, my speed has increased exponentially. While my heart rate, my average heart rate, is actually going down. Now, when I link my zone 2, that's essentially the index funds of an investment portfolio. Something that is steady, stable, does have its ups and downs, but it's for the long term. Now, in Australia, we love to bet on specky miners. Mining companies that basically make no profit, and if they end up not finding enough of whatever it is they want to dig, or they don't find any at all, or they just take too long to get finance, they go bankrupt. That represents your VO2 work. It's good to have some in your portfolio, but you don't want to have too much, because they can go belly up and whatever investment goes to zero. Now, the more VO2 max work you do, the more likely you are to get injured or sick or burn out, and you're basically just pushing your body too hard, too fast. And so what that does is it pushes you back. So instead of having slow, continuous gains, you end up basically almost going back to square one. When it comes to your tempo work, that probably relates more to like your sector-specific allocation. So your banks, your tech, etc. Now, these can do well in the medium term, but you got to make sure that, just like with tempo work, you got to focus on what sort of specifics you need to do. So my sort of tempo specifics is targeting the marathon and the half marathon. Whereas if you're targeting more the 5 and 10k distance, you're going to want a completely different allocation in your training. What sort of zones do you allocate more of your time to? Zone 3, 4, zone 5, or the more easier ones, zones 1 and 2, which is more of the marathon pace. Now, I've said in another video that my allocation to VO2 max so far has been pretty low, probably about 3%. Now, what I want to do going forwards is increase that maybe 5 or 6%, just to get my body more used to doing those kind of above threshold efforts. Because you never know when you're going to have to sprint past someone, not sprint, but push past someone, go a bit harder, go into the red, and then recover and keep going. And that's what I haven't worked on. My threshold and endurance pace have increased significantly. When I started, my prediction on Stride was just over a 5-hour marathon. Now it says I can go sub 4. And when I look at my Excel sheet, I love my Excel, for all these projections and predictions. It says I should be able to do, I should put in, on the day of the Olympics, I put in a 2-hour marathon. And you know what? It actually says I can go faster based on my current performance. If I continue along this trend for the next six years, now it will taper off, because there's, no one can do sub 2 yet, other than Elliot. But it really shows that continuing will get me closer and closer to my goal. And at this point in time, it's not unachievable. I don't think I articulated this very well in my last couple of videos, but before the Canberra half marathon, Stride was saying I could do a 2:02 half, and Garmin was saying I could do a 1:55. Now, I ended up doing a 1:59, so it's kind of somewhere in between. But it was also relatively hilly. Stride now says I can do a 1:51. So I don't believe that at all. But it really shows that the foundation, you just have to set the foundation and the gains follow. The biggest thing that I think helped me, yes, you need to have a good allocation of your training. You need to have sufficient zone 2. You need to have a bit of specificity. So for the half marathon, the marathon, zone 3 work. And you need to do your VO2 max work, your zone 5. But the biggest thing that I found that helped was over distance running. What does that mean? If I'm training for a half marathon, I need to do at least a half marathon in training, not just in time, but also in distance. So I can do a 2-hour half now. Doesn't mean I should peak my long run 2 hours. No, I should peak my long run probably close to 23, 24, 25k, so that the body knows the distance and the body can react to the stimulus. Is it realistic to do a marathon in training before your marathon? Probably not. I would love to try it, and I think eventually I'll get there. I will eventually get to the point where I can do a marathon in training in 3 to 3.5 hours. Obviously I'm not there yet, but that is coming. Because surprisingly, running is a lot like finance. You got to put the time and effort. You got to make the contributions. And over time, your fitness and your balance will grow, and your form will start paying dividends in terms of performance. You'll get those faster and faster results, but you got to be patient and you got to be dedicated. A lot of people want a 12-week plan to half their time. That's just unrealistic. But you can half your time in a year. That is the sort of time frame you should be looking at. Not what can I do next week, what can I do next year or the year after. You've got to have those long-term goals to get those long-term benefits. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next week.